Everybody loves you. In the boot scoot, poop your shoot out. Don't be a poop shoot scooper. Titties. Show me your titties. Raw testicles. Oh man, buttermilk pancakes I made today. Woo!
Oh, yeah.
Woo-wee.
I haven't made pancakes in a while, but man.
I'd give you one, but it's buttermilk.
Love them. Yeah, so there's a vegan version of buttermilk pancakes that I make, which is just using plant milk.
Penises?
But putting some lemon juice or apple cider vinegar in the milk and letting it sit for a bit.
What are you doing, man? It's recording. We're started.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's okay. Just start it again.
Yeah, there's a vegan version, which is just buttermilk.
What do you make buttermilk out of when you're butternuts? Are there butternuts?
So I know you like buttermilk pancakes, but you can make them vegan.
But it's
So
not
you
buttermilk.
just not quite, but what you do is you take some plant milk and any plant you like, and you just put some apple cider vinegar in it, whisk it around a bit, and it gets foamy. I know that sounds gross, but I mean, think about what the fuck is buttermilk, first of all?
Sounds gross. Buttermilk
yeah.
is fucking heaven.
So you let that plant milk sort of foam up and curdle a little bit, and it basically takes on the properties of buttermilk and what makes buttermilk pancakes so nice and fluffy. And yeah, it's really good. I make really good vegan buttermilk pancakes, and sometimes you put some protein powder in the batter.
But you can't we have to stop calling it buttermilk if it's not buttermilk.
Well, is it butter? Is there actually butter in buttermilk?
It's what you make butter out of.
Is it?
Yeah, son. Buttermilk.
I don't know if that's true.
It is true.
We need a buttermilk scientist in the room.
I am a butter scientist. Did you know that people that eat butter are 20% happier than people that don't? Science.
Say that again.
People that eat butter are 20% happier because they studied the countries that people eat butter in to the countries that people don't eat butter in, and the people that eat butter countries are way happier.
I've never cared for butter.
You're an idiot.
Does that mean I'm not happy?
Yes, you aren't too. You're
not.
always angry. See, it's proof. Jesus Christ. All right, you want to start the show?
I would love to.
Or what do you want to talk about this week, Butterface?
Same thing we talk about every week, Eric. I might look it, but I'm not okay.
Live to tape from Vancouver, it's Eric's Living Room, a show best listened to in the nude, featuring Amir Ali. And now, the man who still hasn't paid me for voicing these intros, here is your host, Eric Chapman.
Welcome to the living room. I am Eric. Amir's not okay. Who is, though?
Yeah, I was wondering that today too. Who is
No one.
actually okay all the time?
Even these videos you see on Instagram where they talk about the beige flag boyfriends that are like,
The
like
beige flag
beige
boyfriends?
flag, the beige flag and the red flag stuff. Well, the
No.
beige flag is like an intermediate liking for men that are just like, I think, nothing bothers them, and they're and like they don't get stressed about shit. They don't get stressed about work, and they're just kind of wandering the earth, seemingly happy.
And is this real, or are they lying to themselves?
Well, that's what I'm saying. I think they're lying to themselves. I don't believe anybody can truly be happy, and if you are, you're suffering in a way that I don't comprehend.
Or these people are, which is something that I've done in the past, just repressing everything that they could be upset about, and then at some point in their lives, it's all
it's just
gonna come to the surface, and they're gonna implode or
Yeah.
explode, or
Yeah.
whatever, or murder somebody.
I mean, I'm there for that. Not the murder, but the implosion.
You want to see it happen?
I want to
these
see,
people?
like, sometimes watching people, as a person who has broken down mentally, I think it's fun to watch some people break down mentally.
Yeah. No, I
Certain
think you're right.
people, that are going through it in a certain way, it's like, oh, that's funny. It's funny you're doing it that way.
It's just gonna sound mean, but it
Yeah,
kind of
yeah.
makes me feel better when I see someone who thinks they have it all break down.
Oh, fuck yeah. That's awesome.
It just makes me feel more normal.
Yeah.
Not that I feel like I'm on the verge of a breakdown, although I also feel like I'm on the verge of a breakdown
Yeah. Do you?
at all times. Yeah. Well,
Oh,
that's what-
speaking of breakdown, it's like a year to the day I got fired from my job. Like 2 days
Wow.
off. The
Wow.
13th. It's the 15th today of June.
were you thinking about it on the 13th, which is 2 days ago?
Yeah, it's been on my mind. There's my mental health check, and that's been on my mind. Just about trying to like put my professional life together over the last year and what it's been like and how trippy it's been.
Does thinking about that bring you down, or does thinking about it make you feel
No.
good about where you are right now, considering what happened to you?
Neither. Pretty neutral.
It's just whatever.
Yeah, I think I processed it enough, and I'm still quite angry about it all. So I just let it. It doesn't fully go away ever. I'm
Man,
still
even after a year, eh?
Oh yeah. It was awful what that piece of shit guy did to me. Yeah, it's just mean. It was mean and useless and pointless. So yeah. And like I said before, I hold grudges. I'm a grudge holder. I don't stew, but man, yeah, I don't like you. If I don't like you, I just don't like you. And fuck off. Don't try to be my friend.
I think I used to be a grudge holder. I think I'm trying not to be now, but sort of similar to yours. It's been it's been a bit since my my last relationship sort of fizzled out, and I feel like the closer I was to it, like in the time immediately following it, sort of dissolving, I felt good, and as more time passes, I feel less good.
Do you just feel? Oh, okay. Go into this.
Which seems like it should be the opposite, right? It should be like, oh, as more time that passes, the more I should feel distant from it, or
Do you feel like you've done something wrong? Like
No.
more? No? Is it
No.
a change of that? So it's just how you. Okay.
yeah,
see where
I
you're at.
know that I've
How
not
deep.
done anything wrong in relation to this relationship, and in terms of the reason it ended and stuff like that. It's
Yeah.
just, I don't know. It's just, I'm sure everyone out there who has ever been in a relationship feels this to some degree. It's kind of a more complicated version of what if. Variations of what if and varying scenarios regarding it. Like, what if this happened? What if that happened? You know, you share hopes and dreams with people, and you know, I'm now at a place where like I realize that those hopes and dreams will probably definitely. I know that's contradictory. Never materialize.
Well, in that particular scenario, they might with someone else, something similar.
Yeah.
But yes, I got you. Yeah.
So there's been a lot of that happening, and it's
How for?
it's-
Why for?
I have no idea. It's not really from a lack of closure. I definitely think that I got the closure that I needed from it. But yeah, I don't know. It was one of those really high intensity relationships, which you know that leaves a lasting impression, obviously.
Yeah.
So it's like filling in the impressions that relationship left now.
Oh, I see. I got what you're saying now. Right. What it could have been, what it perhaps should have been in some way, a little bit. You know, a little angry about maybe the ending.
There's
Yep,
definitely
yep.
some anger.
Yep.
I want to say I don't want to say resentment, but there is a little bit of that.
No.
And that's where we started the show, saying that I might look it, but I'm not okay. And I don't know if you go through this in your day-to-day life. Like, obviously, you have to deal with people professionally, maybe socially, and maybe you're not having a good week or a good day or a good month, but you still have to go through the paces and go through the motions of pretending that you're okay, I guess. I'm sure there's some people you could be around where you can be yourself and show that you're not okay, but I think in a lot of cases, at least professionally, you can't do that.
Sure. Yeah, Abby. I can be around myself around Abby. Anybody
Just
I can.
weeping with her.
Yo, I can weep. I could be naked, sprawled on the bathroom floor with like whipped cream and tears streaming out of me because I can't figure
Buttermilk.
something out. Yeah, bathing in buttermilk and salt. And I would not care. She could walk in. She could see my tiny shriveled penis in the cold, damp floor, and it would be fine.
She would laugh at it, though.
Yeah, she would. That's the thing too. She would make the joke when it needed to be made, and I would be like,
Yeah.
"Damn it, that was good. Thank you for that." And then I'd just fill my mouth with cheese in a can.
Ew.
But yeah, of course, yes. Oh, I did a piece on it once called "My Mask" in like 2015. where I just talked about just how, like, you know, in here, in my space, I'm okay. I am how I am. And then as soon as I leave my door, I put my mask on. I'm walking around with this mask on all day. And it's exhausting to fucking keep it on because it's not me.
That's actually interesting that you mentioned masks. You know, I play music every once in a while, and last night there was a song by Interpol that really caught my ear. It's one that I listen to a lot. It's called NYC.
Oh, yeah.
But the lyrics in it go, I had 7 faces, but I didn't know which one to wear. And I do feel that way a lot. Even when I'm at home, like alone in my privacy, I feel like I'm wearing a mask sometimes.
Really? Why do you think you do that at home?
I don't know.
Are you preparing yourself to leave, or you just always have to have it on because if you're afraid you take it off just for a second that you'll lose it?
Shit is getting real deep now, but I don't know. I think I struggle with my own identity sometimes. Like, who am I? Who do I want to be? You know, I'm 36 years old, and I feel like maybe we should have it figured out by now. Well, you're not 36. You're like 56. And you don't have it figured out right now.
Bro, I'm 40 fucking 3, man. Fuck. And yes, no, I think that's a realization I came to in the last couple of years going through stuff. Like, nobody knows what they're doing, man. No.
But I think you've stayed
to a point. I still don't know how I did it or how I was able to do it in the time. And even during when I do, like, I mean, like, I'm 15 years into my media career and I'm like, do I want to do this? I have the same thoughts. I had it the other week. I'm like, fuck, man. Should I maybe just go back to school and be a teacher, do something easy that's like, you know, blah, blah, blah. Am I supposed to be doing this? To your earlier question, to your relationship, was this it? Is this it? Because if this is it, man, this is a struggle.
Yeah.
Like, whoever said life is short is a fucking loser. Life is hard and arduous. It's ridiculously difficult. And yeah, I don't think I'll ever have it fully together or be searching for some change. Even last week I mentioned the other show I mentioned how I was thinking I want to leave the country or something.
Right.
You know what I mean? That's kind of part of it. It's all part of that whole way of thinking. So yeah. And I don't think we're very alone in it either. I think it's a thing.
Yeah, I think it's about, I don't know, I guess trying to be comfortable with that reality. Comfortable knowing that it's maybe never going to be, I don't know, super stable.
Yeah.
It's maybe some relative degree of stability or something, which I do think I have right now.
Yeah, it feels like you do from the outside anyways. You got a job and a place. I mean, what else
that's
do you need
it.
to be
Yeah.
stable?
And that's the thing. I think, you know, we've talked about social media a lot on this show, and I think a lot of what you see maybe makes you think you don't have enough when you actually do.
Oh, fuck. Yes. God, nobody has it. And you don't want it. Again, what more do you want? You don't want it. You don't want all that stuff.
What stuff?
Like, you always see the people that are like, you know, before I was a celebrity or before I got money and stuff, you know, it's like people think it's going to get easier. And then they're like, no, it's just as hard. It's more difficult with money because you have more responsibility. When you have a bigger career, it's more difficult. You have more responsibility. Like, it's difficult. I forgot what I was saying there.
It is difficult. You were saying that, you know, more is not necessarily happiness.
Yeah, happiness. I mean, it's not the whole money can't buy a happiness because I don't believe that either because money makes me very happy because it's security and it makes me feel good that I don't have to worry about where I'm going to fucking eat.
If if someone just dropped you like, I don't know, for no reason, 20 grand today, what would you buy with it?
I'd pay my debt off. That would all go to my debt and I'd give the rest to my mom.
Aw.
Because my mom, she just doesn't have anything. She was just even homeless until like last Christmas. Her hip's going. She's probably going to lose her place in the next year or two again because rent in Vancouver or BC.
Well, you're a better son than I am.
Yeah, but no.
No, you are.
No. I don't think you're a bad son. I think people deserve the way they're to be treated. Doesn't make you a bad person because they were fucking assholes to you. And now you have to take No, I don't believe that. Don't take that burden on, man.
I know we don't really reference, you know, time too much on the show, but I have been thinking about this a lot because when we're recording this, tomorrow is actually Father's Day.
Is it really?
It is.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh, I hate the Father's Day.
I know. But it's hard not to think about Daddy.
Oh, Daddy.
when this time comes around. And I don't think I've ever once done anything for Father's Day. Maybe when I was in elementary school and you were sort of forced by your teachers to like make a card or something.
Same thing. Same. Or my mom would be like, "Call your dad. It's Father's Day."
And you never did.
Well, I'd be like, "Okay." Fuck.
Yeah, so I won't be calling my dad. I won't be messaging my dad. But I will probably be thinking about Father's Day. I think maybe that's one other reason why the relationship stuff came up, because last Father's Day was very different because I was hanging out with somebody else's family for that day. And it was actually,
damn.
It was actually really nice. But
Okay, yeah, you got to. Oh, so you got to experience a Father's Day in a pleasant Father's Day.
Totally, that's probably.
Yeah, that's nice. What's that like? Is that nice? Do people like their dads?
Some people like their dads.
That's weird, man.
It's crazy.
That's weird shit, man.
I honestly do think I've met more people that don't
Yes,
like their dads.
I would agree.
But people do.
Wow.
Some people have healthy relationships with their fathers.
Do you ever wonder what it's like, or what it was like at your age to be your parents or your father or your mom? Because I was thinking about this the other day. Like, I'm 43. My mom had me at 40 or 30, sorry. So I would have been 12 when she was 43. So right now, in my age, I was running around as a 12-year-old. My brother was
my God.
14. And like, I was just thinking about like how awful that would be to live that, like the stress of having two kids, she was going to school, I think at that time, Stu, or just finishing school and working a job. So I was running around like a crazy child, like biting dogs and cats' heads off and things like that and being crazy. And yeah, it was just a nutty time. And I'm like, I would have lost me or like forgot to feed me. Like, I can't imagine what it would have been like to have a kid and be living a life in that moment as my mom.
I have thought about that actually, because I think I've mentioned on the show before that I was an accident, and that's not. I'm not fucking around. I truly believe that I was an accident based on, first of all, how late my mom had me. I think she was, again, like sort of like yours, late 30s, maybe even early 40s, like right on the cusp of even being able to have a kid.
Oh shit!
And the gap between me and my second oldest brother is about 11 years.
Yeah.
And the oldest brother about 13 or 14 years. So they had me 11 years after the last kid. My dad had some kids in between with other women.
Oh wait, you got brothers and sisters other places?
I have two half brothers.
Jesus Christ!
Yeah, there's a lot around that that's just fucked up. But
yeah.
No, I think if I was to put myself in my parents' shoes, they got really lucky with me. It's true, man. I was a good kid. I was a really good kid. I was a little fat. Ate a lot of junk food.
I mean, that costs a lot, but other than that, what are you worried about?
But I wasn't fucking around like you were. I wasn't eating animals.
Heads,
except for the ones that they would prepare.
I didn't eat the whole fucking animal, just the head of the animal.
I do wonder about, because there were definitely some tough like mental health times for my mom.
Mm-hmm.
I think she was probably going through menopause at some point when I was a kid, and I think I vaguely remember.
Oh my God, right, you would have, yep.
How sort of hot-tempered she was around those times. Yeah, man, that's an interesting position to put yourself in.
Yeah, and not that I because my mom didn't do the best. And it's not sympathy, and I'm not forgiving her, or if I'm forgiving her, but I'm not forgetting the shitty things that mom did.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I do sympathize for holy shit. And my mom looked me in the eye when I was a kid and was like, "You were an accident. We weren't planning on it." And I was very upset. She had postpartum depression when I was born. So that's why I think I lived with my Oma a lot, and I think that might have been part of it. Plus, she was going to school and things.
Oh,
but
shit.
part of all that was, I don't think she really wanted me around. Because she didn't want to have a kid.
Yeah.
I don't even she didn't even probably know if her relationship was stable in the first place. And that's probably why my dad left too, was because I was born. Because he couldn't handle the stress and he's a loser.
Yeah, I forget about that dynamic. Thinking about the relationship that my mom had with my dad while I was a kid, which was very volatile. And I think they both were thinking more about the drama in their relationship than they were me, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
Thankfully, I had two older brothers. The oldest one didn't really do shit, but my middle brother, the one that you know, he was sort of the rock.
Mm-hmm.
If it wasn't for him, I probably would have turned out really, really differently.
Mm-hmm.
He was like the parent that I needed as a kid.
Yeah.
I actually wrote about that in my memoir today.
Yeah. Oh, you're writing your memoir?
Yeah, I started writing more of that today. Maybe I'll read some of it to you guys.
Maybe I'll do a skit where I make fun of you.
Leave a comment if you'd like me to read some of my memoir on Eric's living room next week.
I'll turn the comments on.
Oh, you keep them off?
Yeah.
What are you scared of?
Because I'm afraid of people saying mean things.
Who cares? And we could read about these mean things people.
Oh, but people are so mean.
What are they going to say?
Okay, I'll turn them on. What's the email? We have an email address.
Oh, do we?
I forget it though.
Is it
Yeah.
Eric's Living Room at protonmail.com?
Yeah, I think that's what it is.
You can also engage on Instagram, Eric's Living Room,
Yes.
and we will not respond.
No, we won't. Oh, don't be mean, because then I'll just get mean.
Yeah, you don't want to get mean with Eric, because he'll get volatile as well. He'll start firing back at you.
Speaking of things as a child, do you have smells that like set you off in different ways, like happy smells and bad smells? Because I was doing an estate auction, as you know, I look through dead people's underwear drawers and find stacks of money, and then sell said underwear drawer. And while I was at this lady's place downtown, man, her place smelled exactly like my Oma. And I was like 6 times during the day, I almost started to cry because
So it was a happy.
it was happy, it was joyous, because it was like a smell of like some type of food that was baked or cooked, and then her perfume. And you know, old person hair roller shit, like that smell of like a perm, like that was in there. And I was like, a couple times I was like, Oma, oh, are you here? And I was like, oh my God, this is crazy. And yeah, I was like, it was super like a positive trigger. And then the other day, I smelled patchouli and I wanted to chop the tree down that I was looking at.
What's wrong with patchouli?
My ex-fiance wore patchouli all the time.
Yeah, I think we sort of briefly
did.
discussed this
Yes.
because you said that the smell of like, I don't know, stale cigarette smoke and alcohol sets you off because it reminds you of your dad.
Yeah, well, just cigarettes remind me of a certain brand of cigarettes, Players Light Special, and then stale cigarettes and alcohol remind me of alcoholism and abuse as a child, so it like puts me on like my defense right away.
Yeah, so cigarette smoke for me as well is a negative one. Anytime I smell cigarette smoke, because my dad used to secondhand smoke, or I used to get my dad secondhand smoke all the time as a kid.
Any flavor particular, or just
He
cigarettes?
did. He smoked Benson and Hedges,
Oh,
and then also Rothman's Extra Light. And they definitely have a very peculiar and unique fragrance, those
100%.
cigarettes.
yeah.
And then also, sadly, sometimes Indian food sets me off in a weird way.
In a sad way?
Yeah.
Yeah?
I won't avoid Indian food because of it, but it just
God.
kind of takes me back to times that I don't know, aren't the most pleasant. They're not like awful, but
No.
I don't know.
Yeah, because the dinner table is often a happy place for a lot of people, but for me, it's not.
I didn't even sit at the dinner table with my family.
Okay.
I would eat in my bedroom most of the time.
Oh, wow. Okay, because the dinner table for me was an argument, or my Oppa would like tease, he'd like take his hot coffee spoon and like burn you with it.
Oh my God.
And stuff. Like the dinner table was like all my arguments, like bad argument. Like we had to yell at my Oma once because my Oma was brainwashed by Nazi Germany. We don't want to get too deep into it, but she was in concentration camps and she was taught a certain way. And she didn't defend Hitler, but she would often talk about Hitler and say, you know, he did this and this, which actually was good. And then, like, so one time my mom and her got into this argument because she's like, Mom, you can't say that. You just can't. And she's like, well, you know, it's like, oh,
That's
no,
wild.
it's all showing, all your brainwash. But anyway, so that's one of like the core memories I have. And then I left once because my mom was at Christmas dinner. I just got up and walked out with my girlfriend at the time. Yeah, so there's so many. But I saw my first vagina at the dinner table.
What?
It was actually the breakfast table.
How?
And it's the same reason that I have a thing for stepmothers. Because my dad, speaking of dads, throwback, my dad's second wife, who he left, was cheating on my mother with, her name was Jean.
So alike.
And one day I was at their place, and we were eating breakfast, and I dropped something on the ground. And we were eating mini wheats, and this is also why mini wheats are my favorite breakfast cereal. And thank you, Jean. And I just went under to grab my spoon, and I looked up, and there in all its glory was Jean's hairy vagina.
Oh my
and I was just like, oh my God, there's a vagina. That's not my mom's. What's going on over there? And so I just remember, I'm seeing it right now. I'm seeing like the cupboard and that mesh, that corny ass 80s mesh that was on the front of like pantry or cupboards and stuff like that, and cabinets that you would open, and then the glass top where you could see where the dishes are. It was one of those behind them. It was a little nook. And there it was.
What do you mean you have a thing for stepmoms?
I got a thing for stepmom porn.
I get it. It's fine.
And I had a huge crush on my stepsister as well. Caitlin, her daughter. God, she was hot as a child. Yeah.
All right. That's very honest.
She was
of
my
you.
stepsister. Yeah. I tried to make out with her a couple
It's
times.
not blood.
Not blood. It doesn't matter. It's like third or fourth cousin. It's totally
Doesn't
fine.
matter.
You can make out with your fourth cousin and not get in trouble. But yeah, stepsister. I guess I made out. Yeah. I grabbed her boob once. Caitlin, yeah. And then I went to Jean's second wedding. Oh, God, what a confusing life I've had.
Oh my
Amir, what do you want
God.
to talk about next week?
Jesus Christ. So much now. The same thing we talk about every week, Eric. Not any of that. Why isn't jazz pop?
You know what they say? Pee in the sink once, shame on me. Pee in the sink twice, that's jazz.
Boy, am I glad that's over. Eric's Living Room was filmed live to tape in Eric's Living Room. Written, directed, and produced by Eric and Amir. For Eric's Living Room, I am Abby DeForest. Please send help. A Teeny Turner production.